So that too will be on the website as well.
Yeah, I think Gino's got plenty of those photos, so yeah, that'll be up and running very soon.
But it was also good to catch up with some of the modern day guys who've retired. Keith Sliger was there, who took 150 wickets in 3 years,
basically, yeah.
Something like that. You know, guys like Lou
Bethanios, Jack Smith,
you know
David Shipp, all those blokes who've been around the club for many years, and yeah, obviously, as you say yourself, it was great to spend time with those guys. And then we had the kick on at the club rooms from 1 in the morning. There was a bus that drove everyone down from the South Oakley Club, and there was at least 50 blokes who came back down to King George at 1 in the morning. Finished at around 7 or thereabouts. I think the last two men standing were Luke Morrison and Richard Smith, who decided to walk down to the Boundary Hotel and give the pokies a go. Unfortunately, they were shut, so that was bedtime. But yeah, great night, and I think you played a bit of golf on the way back to East Boundary Road.
Misconception. No, I was on my way to the East Boundary Road to get a cab, and stopped for a bit of a rest, and the rest is history, as they say. So no, it was an awesome night. And it's good to. One of the things before our game, sorry, just to go back on our game, is we invited Neil to come down and speak to the guys, and obviously it was quite emotional for Neil because the passing away of Don Hoare as well. So it was thanks to Neil for coming down for that. But
and I guess that was one of the key highlights of the 80th, was actually commemorating the presidencies, the presidential eras, I guess, of Cedric Jansen and Neil Gorbach, our last two presidents. And that goes back to 1986, so nearly 25 years of presidency held by those two people. So it was fantastic to hear them speak about, I guess, their times as president.
We get to keep moving.
Okay, so we'll move into Longmuir Shield, and yeah, look, as we mentioned, Bentley A&A defeated Kingston Heath. Going back on Kingston Heath, they did enough. They won their 2 games to avoid themselves from relegation. And once they heard, I think during the middle of week 1, just after tea in week 1, that they'd heard the Washington Park were rolled for 54. They were celebrating in between overs, so I think they thought that their job for the season was done. Maybe that helped us get a score to 270, but in the end, well done to Kingston Heath for doing what they needed to do in their first year in Longmuir Shield. They're a club that definitely is on the right path with a lot of kids. I think they've got over 7 junior sides that are in the finals this season. So
must have a good catchment area, like they must. There's too much competition with that.
Well, I know that the club was built based on juniors, and that's just evolved over time. And I think they've got the right community values and whatnot to get the families on board down there. And over time, those kids are now starting to play roles in their first 11, which as you mentioned, with guys like Manning, Davis, and Rayner. So
I think the twos are in the finals too.
Yeah, there are. They're second,
pushing through next year.
That's right. So guys like Andrew Bird, etc., who they're all making names for themselves, and they're only teenagers. So
that's good for
Kingston Heath's definitely as a club overall, they're going down the right path. East Sandringham, as mentioned, they defeated Washington Park, who were all out for 56. Probably really, I guess, a symbolic day to how their season's evolved. I think they defeated Kingston Heath in round 1, and following that, they just haven't had much luck and or success with doing the job.
Again, the question will be, do they challenge the relegation? I'm going to be a journalist here. My info is that they're going to challenge it, and they're going to base it on the fact that they're going to go out and recruit heavily, and still be competitive enough to stay in Longmuir Shield. That's the info I've got.
Well, that really depends on who wins Longmuir Shield, who wins Woolno Shield. I mean, like, you've got your Moorabbin West, Aspendale, Edith Vales, Hampton Central in particular. Those 3 clubs are vying for a Longmuir Shield spot, and Hampton Central got relegated the year before. They've got a lineup that suggests that they'll be competitive if they go back up into Longmuir Shield.
They're the same team when they went down, though. It's the same old guys.
But they're also the same names that played in the Longmuir Shield Grand Final.
I don't see the benefit in Hampton coming in. I think what they've got to do is go back to the drawing board, because I went and watched them play our twos just briefly, And it was the same old. Like, I don't think they should have, played a lot more kids this year if they've got kids, and I think they've got to go back to the drawing board and get that right before they come back to Longyear. Because I think
they might be in the same position as Washington Park, promoting themselves that they're going to recruit, etc. So I mean, like you can't, I guess.
I think Washington Park, their brand versus a Hampton Centrals, will have higher value than a Hampton, and I think they've got the resources. We all know that Washington Park have the resources and the personnel to execute what they're trying to achieve. So, look, Aspendale either fuck will be, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, in the end, the rules are the rules. You're exposed to relegation if you come last, and 9 times out of 10, or maybe 8 times out of 10 in the past decade, the team that actually does go down is the team that came last.
But you got us into Longyear Shield based on a business plan and based on where the club was going.
No, it was based in comparison to the alternative, which was Cheltenham Park. They didn't have juniors at the time, and they were only just scraping in 3 sides, and that's the reason why ANA.
But I guess that's what I'm saying as well. It's based on the alternative.
Yeah, that's right.
Washington Park saying, well, if Moorabbin West or Hampton Central coming up, well, the alternative.
Hampton Central, I think, have 5 or 6 senior sides. So that's a pretty strong case to suggest that they're a club that warrants Longyear Shield promotion. But anyway, that might be something. To discuss when you get on the CMC executive this year.
That's
discuss. Anyway, so East Everingham made 336 in reply to Washington Park's 54. Good batting practice pre-finals for East Everingham.
Sure would have been a long day for wash-ups too.
Yeah, not fun. Luke Dallas top scored for 74, Anton Duddy 67, and Devereaux 63, Guy Martin 55, and Danny Corp 43. So everyone's had a hit and they've got some form. So well done to those guys. And with the ball, Mark Jenkin 4 for 10. Pat Singh, who could be the smoky in the finals. We don't know much about him, so he might, have a bit of X factor about him. 3 for 6.
Keep it in perspective, they're playing wash-ups.
True. And Brendan Bennett 3 for 31. So I mean, it's as good a practice session as you could get pre-finals.
Sure. And in the process, burning your club to relegation.
Right. The other games, Amiga all out for 99 with Damien Britt taking 6 for 31. I think that got him to 30 wickets for the season or thereabouts.
It's a
good year, Damien Britt.
And he makes some runs too. He's probably made 250, 300 runs. So.
Yeah. And in reply, Bentley Uniting 3 for 104. The heir apparent, Simon Richards, making 61. And
what's that mean?
Well, I've heard that he might be the next captain of Uniting. That's what I'd heard. But
surely, what's his name? Turner does a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, but I think they're grooming Simon Richards to be the next captain.
It's probably Mr. Brett, but
that's my mail. But anyway, and Timmy Brisbane making 33 as well. LePage Park, big upset. Rolling Brighton Union, who
just going back to Amiga, disappointing game. When if they won this game, they would have made the 4.
Absolutely, that's right. When we were talking about they'd taken every challenge available in front of them. They did everything right. They suffocated teams when it came to defending scores. They did just enough to get over the line when it came to chasing 200s or thereabouts. They were relying heavily on Tim Mullane and in particular Clint Ferguson. But yeah, as you say, 99, disappointing.
I think we sort of touched on it a couple of episodes ago. Again, it was always their batting. It's a question. Like Ferguson had carried it through, most of the games, but it was always those, the secondary and third players behind that. Obviously, a day like that, Ferguson didn't get on.
No.
And when a guy like Britt gets 6 for it, it's going to be a hard day. But they've got to think they've probably finished 6th.
They finished. I think they finished 5th.
Pretty good year. It's a pretty good year, and I think they'd be pretty happy Amiga about how the year went. And the guys got a lot of experience by winning those close games throughout the year, so it can only be beneficial to them. But
I would also say that I think in the past 8 years they would have finished 5th at least 4 or 5 times. I think they're almost like the Richmond Football Club of the CMCA. But anyway,